Good morning, everybody. This is Becky here at Aunt Beck's Creations. And I'm just coming on to do a real short hashtag Friday sews. And the hashtag was started by Jen at Today in Jen's Sewing Room, if you're wondering. And I haven't done one in a long time, but thanks to Katinka, I've been sewing again. And I'm currently working on a black dress for myself just to have, in my closet. And I got the bodice piece together yesterday. I got a little hot spot with the iron. I don't think it's as noticeable as Scott thinks it is, but it's a little shiny right there because the iron was too hot for this fabric. The sleeves are not attached yet. They're just setting up there. And I've never hemmed sleeves before putting them on the dress, so that was a little different. And they need to be pressed. I hand sewed the hems up in there. And I have plenty of this fabric. If I finish this one and it needs some fitting issues, I'll just make another one. But I think it's turning out really pretty. The fabric was purchased at Goodwill, and I got like 6 yards of this black fabric for like $6. Hi, Janet. So I cut off maybe a little over 2 yards. It was 60 inches wide. And the reason I'm getting away with less than the pattern called for is I took a lot off the length of the dress. And I was just going to pin the front up here. That's the back of the skirt. This is the front. And I'm just going to pin this up on here. Because see, even after I shortened it, it's a long skirt. Yes, it starts up under your chest here, but it's still going to be below my knee. So just for reference, I grabbed the pins, and this is the front of the dress. I didn't notice there's a pull right there. I'll try to pull that to the back side of the fabric later. So if we get some pins, I can pin into Gretchen. She doesn't mind being stabbed in the gut, so it'll be all right. So there's some marks there. Oh, I got the pins too far away. Yes, Ruth, I know you made me a little thing to wear on my wrist, but I always forget to grab it. It's over there on my cart. I'll just put them in my sleeve. So let's just so you can kind of get an idea of what it's going to look like when it's got the skirt on. These will attach together. Should come up farther. I'm a little concerned that the bodice is going to be too short for me, because from my center shoulder seam to my apex, which is the center of your breast, is like 12 and a half inches, and this was only like 10 inches. So I think I'm going to have to redo the pattern again. I did grade out from one size to the next 2 sizes up because of my my tummy. So that'll cross like that, and then that'll hook together. So it's just going to be a nice basic black dress. I'm not sure if I told you the pattern or not, but it's Butterick B4225. Line drawings are really tiny, but you got all those options. And I am doing B, but I've shortened it like that much. So cover up that much of it. So that's why I didn't need nearly the amount of fabric that they called for. And I've never cut a dress out quite like this, because they have you fold the fabric lengthwise. So when you generally when you fold your fabric, you bring selvage to selvage, right sides of your fabric together. On this pattern, they had it right sides together, but they had it your cut length folded in half. And then they wanted, well, no, they didn't. They said to cut it all in the flat. And the center front needs to be on a fold. So I said, I'm just going to fold it. So I just folded my length in half, the lengthwise instead of widthwise. So the salvages were on each side. And then you cut the skirt across the grain. So instead of going with the grain, you line it up with the grain that goes the opposite way of the straight of grain. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, but I've never cut one out like that. I was a little concerned about how it's going to hang, but I think it's going to be just fine. This black fabric loves cat hair, so I'm going to have to carry a lint brush with me because it's just, even just working around in here, it's picked up a lot of cat hair. And of course, as I was working on it yesterday, every single one of the cats wanted to try to come and lay down on it. So that's the current under my needle on my machine project. And it is one of the projects that was in my jar. Oops, sorry. My little jar of whips. So it was, I didn't draw it. I just decided I needed to make it. Oh, and you know, it's not going to be on here because the original dress that I was going to make, I found that the petite pattern that I accidentally bought was not going to work for me. So I'm going to donate that pattern. So I'm not even sure which one is. Let me see. Black dress. I had originally planned to make McCall's M7920, but it was a petite pattern and there was way more alterations that were going to need to be involved to fix it. So I said, forget it. And I just went back to my pattern stash and found this Butterick, which is just a basic dress again. And I am making the shorter sleeves because I'm in South Carolina and I just don't like long sleeves unless it's on a sweater or a cardigan. So that'll be a project out of my jar in a roundabout way. Now, something we had pulled before, I had been working on it. I just wanted to show you the state. This is that, the little baby quilts that were made. I made 2 tops with the Stonehenge stone chips fabrics. And I'm holding on to this. So when I add this to my sewing journal, I can put pictures of the 2 quilts and this in my sewing journal. And I've been hand quilting this one. The next one, I think I'm just going to do on my sewing machine to speed it up. Hey, Peg. So I still have a number of these to stitch across. I have my lines on the front, and I'll just show you how far I've gotten. And you can see the pink lines on it. That's what I stitch along, and you can see some of my stitching there. But you can also see how many more I've still got to do. But this one I think is going to be my favorite because it's got the sea turtles on the back. Now the other one I haven't even layered together. So this is a project in the works. I might work on it a little this morning, so I'll just leave it here. There is a needle right there. I'm hoping I haven't lost the spool of thread because it's hand quilter's cotton. And yeah. So something else that's sewing related, you know, we lost Joann's, and I don't care to shop at Hobby Lobby too much. And they're doing away with their patterns. So I went to the simplicity.com just to look at the new patterns, and they were on sale for $4.99. So I ordered 3 new patterns, and I was really thinking more of what is something that's a little bit warmer, because we have January coming up. That's our coolest month, is January, February. That's when we generally get an ice storm here in South Carolina. So for comfort only, these are just that. So this is a Berta Easy $56.94, and it's a hooded sweatshirt and just a slip-on pair of pants. You know, just perfect for wearing around the house. There's the line drawings. Everybody wants to see line drawings. It's a Berta pattern. I think I said that. Imported for Canada. And it doesn't give a, I would say this year, but who knows. And Berta's out of Germany. So yeah, super easy pattern. I did not tell you, this pattern from Butterick that I'm making the black dress out of was from 2004. So, oh my word, that's over 20 years ago, isn't it? Wow. Anyway, back to what I got. And then I got two new look patterns, again, aimed for comfort. And this is like two different styles of tops, or maybe that's a jacket. No, it's a top. And a pair of pants. So it's New Look 6814. And I will probably alter the waistline so that it's smooth at the front. I hate elastic waists that go all the way around because they always look bunchy. Hi, Heather. Hi, Pam. And there's the line drawings for that one. And it's New Look 6814. Another easy. And then this one's got all sorts of things you can make. The dress portion I will be making longer because nobody needs to see that much of a 61-year-old's legs. But it just looked like it would be cozy. Imagine it coming down to my knee. 6818. Copyright 2025, because these are supposed to be the new patterns. And there's the little line drawings. And I just thought it was cute. And it's got what I call a kitten pocket. We had an orange kitten one time named Tesla, and I had a shirt with a kitten pocket. And he would let me stick him in there, and he'd just sleep. And I could walk around the house and do stuff or sit and do stuff, and he'd just sleep in that pocket when he was little. He got way too big for a kitten pocket after he got grown. So that was the three patterns I picked up from simplicity.com. And what else have I been sewing? Not anything. I did take a moment, and I've been cleaning a little bit and vacuuming up the spare cat that's always floating around. And anybody that has pets knows exactly what I'm talking about. So I've been cleaning up in the hopes that no more will find its way to this dress. And I'm going to keep cleaning and tidying for a bit. I want to set my Santa collection up on the fireplace mantle and my Christmas wreath. That may be the only Christmas decorations I put up this year because I just don't have anywhere for a tree. And there's Pam and Heather and Peg and Janet. That's everybody that showed up this morning. So I will let you guys go. As soon as I finish up cleaning, I'm going to start putting this together the rest of the way. Basically, you put the sleeves on, and then I'm going to have to, this will get basted in place. There's a center line where this has to go. Let me see if I can do this. There's a line I put on here that denotes the center front of where you're supposed to overlap it. And I'm toying with the idea of, since I had a little bit of a melting accident, the instructions do say right over left, but I'm thinking maybe if I go left over right, it might look weird, but it would cover up some of that where I melted it. I don't know. But I have to match up those two pins because that's where those two lines are. Howard, stop. Those are lined up now, and I have to baste this overlap in place because then you sew the side seams on the skirt, and then you attach the skirt to the bodice, and then all I'll have to do is put the zipper in the back. So that'll be how that is. It goes up there, and then this will attach to the skirt. Does that line up a little better with the, yeah. And I was kind of sad that it doesn't have side pockets, so I don't know. It might look better without them, but I always like a pocket, even in a dress, because then I have somewhere to have tissues or put my phone or whatever. But I think I'm going to make this one straight as it is in the pattern. So, all right. Thank you guys for being here, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye. Have a great day.